So it looks like it's that time of year again, MJ. Time for releases. But I know two people that aren't going to get released. Two people that are far too great to be released from any roster.
Who is that, Dan?
The British Fist, of course, MJ.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching, indeed. Ka-ching means money, and we mean money, and that means we ain't going to get released. Subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on WWE's probable impending releases down in that comment section below.
When you contact us in the link in the box below.
Try getting us on edge there, MJ. Like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Oh, he said it, man! Burn! But anyway, so as you can probably tell, we're going to be talking a little bit about the possible releases in WWE. It is usually this time of year, after WrestleMania, that we get the releases now. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a load of people that we feel could be released, and it's just that time of year again, isn't it? We did a video like this last year. No one got released, but I do think there are a lot of other factors this year that means that there's probably going to be a lot more releases than there was last year.
Well, look at this year, and they've got wrestlers that, just like last year, flying about, not really doing justice for the WWE, and they're thinking, we try to make money, not lose money, so releases would be the best time, and obviously now we're getting all these other companies and stuff, it is the right time to do it and save up.
Indeed, we've got to save up. Save up for what though, MJ? Linda's Senate run.
Oh, yeah.
Because usually we know that when Linda has a Senate run, $50 million has to go from Vince's WWE bank account to Linda's bank account to fund it. And that means sometimes, like remember back in 2010, you have to get releases. They release guys like MVP, Matt Hardy, Shelton Benjamin, etc. And it is a factor, isn't it? You've got to take this into account. Linda's Senate run is going to cost a lot of money, and that means that releases are probably going to happen.
The cheapest option is just divorce her, you know. Just divorce and move on. Flipping heck.
Vince McMahon, if you're listening, NJ has some relationship and business advice for you. Just divorce Linda McMahon like you did in Storyline so many times. But it is a big factor, isn't it?
It will be, because obviously Vince McMahon's going to try and support the best it can for Linda, because Linda does play a big part still in the WWE some way or form, yes.
And of course, let's not forget we have the influx of new talent from FCW or NXT, which means that a lot of talent on the roster that aren't getting used are probably going to get put to the back burner, because WWE obviously want to, if they're going to bring up this new talent to freshen things up, they're going to want to showcase them, which means a lot of probably the guys on this list that we're probably going to talk about in a minute or so probably not going to have much fun. They're probably just going to think, well, what's the point? You might as well release them.
The sad thing is, the thing that we've realised now is, in the past, WWE have broken up tag teams, made them single wrestlers, and this list we're about to give you, instead of releasing them, the best way to keep them around is pair two of them up to make tag teams, instead of going through this list saying, out, out, out.
And you know what? You do bring a good point there, NJ. We do need tag teams in the WWE, and we've got one. We've got like Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins, like as a tag team who have been fired on NXT. We've got Darren Young and Titus O'Neil as a tag team. But there are some guys on here that you could think to yourselves, you know, WWE have got a non-existent tag team at the moment. Why not pair them up? There's a lot of guys in there you'd think they could do that with, really, isn't there?
And that is true. Like with these ones about to name, you could see not a likeable tag team maybe, but just get them involved in some way. And also in the past, like last year, they released people that, if they stayed around, tag teams could have been a bit better now, and some of these wrestlers could have still been in a tag team and working. But we'll get onto that in this list.
Yeah, definitely. I think, to be honest with you, we'll start off with the bigger names. I think, due to the fact that it is Linda's Senate run, and last year, and in 2010, we had guys like MVP, Shelton Benjamin, you know, you had Caval, etc., like that, getting released. It means there is a good chance there's going to be there may be one or two big name releases. And I think if you look at recent incidents as to what happened, we've got the first guy on the list is Evan Bourne. We know what happened to Evan Bourne. He got done for doping, or he got the wellness policy done twice. He's now broke his foot, or whatever he's done to his foot, which means he's going to be out of action for a long time. Now, this could lead to just WWE releasing the guy, couldn't it?
He's a talent that guys or fans do like, the way he performs in the ring, but the fact that he's gone through this twice, the fact that he's injured, I think the WWE are thinking, can we really trust this guy to be in a tag team, go for the tag team? So it's at the time before he had all this, he was a tag champ, they couldn't change plan there. So I think releasing him, because of their trust issues, may be the best option, but for fans who like him, it would be sad to lose him.
I mean, you put all this money and effort behind a guy who then goes and dopes, and then all of a sudden he gets an injury. You're Vince McMahon sitting there thinking, should I really put the money behind him? So this guy, you know, Evan Bourne could be released, guys. It is a massive possibility. Another possibility, as much as I don't like saying this, because of the lack of use they've got for this guy, the potential this guy has is amazing. He's only 26, 27 years old, but Drew McIntyre. is one of those probably one of those big names who could be released. He's been involved in many firing storylines. We know on TV they've mentioned the fact that they brought him in on a lucrative deal to SmackDown, and they haven't used him. And it's a very good chance that Drew McIntyre could also get released in this.
I know this is years ahead now, but when he was first brought in, the Chosen and all that, there was loads going for him. We probably said this last year. There was loads going for him, direction and everything. Main event push eventually and all that, but sadly that did not come to be the case. As Dan said, he went through firing storylines, and that really got a bit messed up for him. And they should just fire him in one of those two storylines if they weren't going to give him another chance to be pushed towards the main event or mid card or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the guy should. I mean, to be honest, I think WWE could do much more with this guy. I definitely think they should keep him around, but it's always a possibility. I mean, we know what happened in 2010. He was probably going to win Money in the Bank until he had that incident with his wife Tiffany at the time, and that has led to his profile being very low on the WWE radar. And there is a good chance that Drew McIntyre could be a big name to get released. I mean, we're just speculating here. There's no like definite releases or anything, but we're just thinking of names that we can do. Another one for me is I know you'll agree here is Ezekiel Jackson. I mean, they put all the effort behind him in the core. And then now look what has happened to him. He's gone down the ladder so much, and you're kind of another guy. You're thinking, do WWE really have any ideas for this guy? Do they really want to use him? Are they going to release the guy?
We said in the past that the WWE likes big guys. They've got one here, and I think we said this in the past. The colour of him maybe affected it in Vince's eyes, but he's a guy that I thought maybe not in the main event, but he would have been a strong mid card or a tag team partner, just for something like that to give him involved. But the fact that you don't see that anymore after the core, after the Intercontinental title run, I think he could be a possibility thinking we've run out of ideas for him or use goodbye.
It's very true. I mean, it's a very sad conclusion, isn't it? When you think you get guys with talent that they're probably just going to get released because they're just not being used. If a guy isn't being used, WWE may just have to release them to save money. I mean, that's just the way it goes. We did hear recent news that the Bella Twins contract is supposed to be running out. Oh, don't do that, MJ. That's just stupid. But I'm only joking, mate. You're awesome. I will say this. The only person in the YWC more marvellous than Marvellous Mark. I swear, what do you think of that? How much am I putting this guy over? I'm putting this guy over more than Johnny Ace puts over Brock Lesnar as the face of the WWE. But there we go. The Bella Twins were supposed to get were supposed to run out of contract, weren't they? And now one of them has won the WWE Divas Championship, and there's still rumours that they're going to get released. But we know Vince McMahon's very high on these two girls. It's just that they may get released just because of the fact their contract is running out. It's a possibility.
That's the thing. Divas are getting treated really bad in the WWE, and with the Bellas, yes, it's been said in the past, Vince McMahon likes them, but I don't think he likes them enough to treat them the way they should be treated. So I think they're ones that, even though their contract running out, even if he likes them, I just don't see them sticking around. I think, yes, they're the champs now, but that could change this Sunday or whenever and just go.
Don't be surprised if Karma returns at Extreme Rules and beats the living shit out of Nikki Bella, and that leads them to just never being on TV again. I'm just putting it out there, guys. But Vince McMahon does like. He did go on record to say he did like the Bella Twins, but if they're not going to use them or blah, then what's the point in really? Because they were like a special attraction at the start, and the novelties kind of wore off. So
they were somewhat interesting. So they're very switching matches, different to their matches, but at the end of the day, they're just not important in the WWE because Divas, as we've seen, just not as important as they used to be.
How much use does Great Khali have in WWE now? Because I think he's definitely another big name that could get released. I mean, they don't. I think his contract is actually coming up, and the only reason they're bringing him forward, in my opinion, is because of the whole TNA thing that they've done in India with Rinka King. I think there's a good chance that, although I think WWE will keep him because apparently he wants to do other things now, according to Great Khali, but another sort of big, I guess literally a big name that could leave the company.
The two things I want to say about him, number one, since the main event fall that he hadn't been able to lift himself back up. And the other thing is his pink pants. As soon as he changed them from black to pink, his career just went out the window. Goodbye, Khali.
What is it with you and Khali's pants?
Awfulness, just awfulness.
So, I mean, the novelty of Khali was pretty good when it first started. You had this big 7-foot giant who could beat guys like The Undertaker, etc., Batista. But the novelty's kind of worn off now, and they don't really have any great ideas for Khali. And I wouldn't mind not seeing him on TV because he's very just talentless, in my opinion. Even though he does have appeal to Indian people, and they do think that he is kind of a god over there, but no use in America, I'm afraid.
They're trying to give him some importance now, but I think that's only temporarily, and then hopefully, in my opinion, he'll be one of the ones to be released.
A tag team which has been released on NXT. Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Reks. Whether this is storyline or not, we don't really know. But Hawkins and Reks were two people that I thought could maybe be released. There's this whole thing going around Twitter, kind of similar to the Push Alex Riley thing, that save Hawkins and Reks now. And it seems like a lot of these superstars are kind of trying to rally themselves to, or getting support by the internet to try and keep them around, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do try, because they know that they're probably not that likable at the minute. They're trying to get their name out there, to try to get back involved again. Hawkins has been around a while now, had some stuff with him. Rex, his career, the best thing I've done with him is pair him up with someone.
Yeah.
But as much as they are a tag team, they can work together. There's a chance they could eventually come onto SmackDown, but if not, released.
I think the fact that Titus O'Neil and Darren Young are on SmackDown and these two guys aren't shows you what WWE think of these guys. I do think these are, especially with the whole firing storyline, whether they'll come back or not, we don't know. Whether it's legit, we do not know. But again, two guys who I think probably could get released in all this. And we're kind of going off the bigger names now. We're kind of going off the more of the jobber kind of guys. Hawkins and Rex could be used as jobbers. But another guy who's been used as a jobber, who you could argue could have been used better by WWE, but really hasn't, is Yoshi Tatsu. Again, a lot of these guys are jobbers, and WWE does need jobbers. We do know that. But, you get to a point where you just think to yourself, Yoshi Tatsu, what has he got? What can he offer us? Are we going to use it? And that is the issue.
The thing with Yoshi, he got a WrestleMania Dark Match win in the Battle Royal. That was a big thing for him.
Twice.
Well, twice there. And then he's got good in-ring skills, and give him that. He's someone that could, and he was a possible tag team partner, as we saw with Santino. Yeah. There's something there, but they just don't work on it. Think, okay, Yoshi Tatsu's a likeable character, let's push him. They just think, jobber.
Yeah, and that's probably what he is, and it gets to the point where you just think to yourself, is it really worth having him around? As much as I do not like saying that, but there we go. And I know you like this next guy, JTG. Again, could he... Go on, do it. I know you want to.
Money, yeah.
I'm doing it as well.
Money, yeah. Money, yeah.
Love doing that, don't we?
Oh, miss
Shad time. Yeah, Shad, he got released as well, didn't he? Fucking WWE releasing. Why did they break up that tag team? What a ridiculous decision that was.
Their career just went...
Shad was always the better one anyway, but there we go. So JTG is probably going to get... I guess JTG is a good jobber in the sense that he's not really going to ever be that higher up on the card as a jobber, but again, he could be released. We said the same thing last year as well.
Yeah, but I think the WWE, instead of pushing them or releasing them, they just put them in the back for when they need it, as we saw with Brodus Clay.
Oh, yeah.
Using them as jobbers. So they do have their purpose, but not long term.
Heath Slater. Do you want to see Heath Slater get released? Because, in my opinion, Heath Slater is the least talented person on the WWE roster, in my opinion.
He tries to show charisma in backstage segments, but that's one. He's just not got it. It was the unlikable one out of Nexus, and I really think right now, yes, he's a jobber that can be used, but he's just not someone that people can get behind. There are some fans who give it that, but nothing long term, nothing serious, so just release him.
You think those fans like a good meal at Wendy's, but there we go. Heath Slater, he's been knocking around, he's been in matches, he's been in squash matches. They have given him some mic time, so I guess there is a good chance they could keep him around. It's just I don't really see the talent. I don't really see what's there, to be honest, but there we go. Trent, I think two guys that could be released that aren't really being used at the moment, Trent Beretta and Johnny Curtis. Johnny Curtis was the winner of NXT 3. Was it season 4? And then he got this whole, I have a chip on my shoulder. And then he got jobbed out to Mark Henry, and we haven't seen him since. It's kind of like, why did you even bring him to the roster? Why did he win NXT? How the fuck did Johnny Curtis win NXT?
It's awful that these promotions that are meant to be bringing new talent, they seem to fail one way or another. The talent who come in, last a little while, then go. We've seen that with him, Curtis, Cabal. Cabal's one. Cabal's was another one.
Andy Levine's been released, doesn't he?
So there's loads of the promotional shows who meant to bring new talent failed. Curtis, I'm sorry. Yes, he didn't really do anything, but he's gone now.
He's so talentless. And the funny thing is, guys like Alex Riley, Brodus Clay, the second placers, so to speak, are actually winning them. I mean, it shows you how stupid people can be sometimes when they're voting on these shows. But there we go. So the second placers are getting places on the roster, but the winners aren't. That really does make no sense, does it? It kind of shows you NXT, how far that's gone down as a concept in recent years, doesn't it?
It's all sad, but all I can say now is that these releases have all wrapped up to a chance they might not happen. At the same time, we look at these and think they do have some usage, but not enough to maybe keep around to save the WWE money.
I mean, if WWE want to do a bit of spring cleaning, I mean, they could very easily just release a lot of these guys, couldn't they? I mean, you know, you'll have to use a bit of a clean, MJ. You'd think. I mean, it's very likely that a lot of these guys could get released. I mean, like you said, WWE spring cleaning with Linda's Senate campaign. I think my question is, who will get released? Will there be any releases? We don't, because we said, remember, the last time we sat here saying there's probably going to be a lot of releases, but there really wasn't. But that obviously was Senate year. But I think with this year being Senate year, they've brought through a lot of SCW talent now, which is a good thing in my opinion. But some people are going to have to go. We could see some big names on this list go. We could see some jobbers go. There's a very high possibility that the releases will actually happen. I'll let you guys know. You tell me who you think is going to be released. I mean, that's the best thing I can say right now.
Because the thing I'm seeing it, out with the old, in with the new. That's the way I should be looking at it now. Because some of these talents we've named, as much as they were good or could be used, they're dead talent now. We've got new talent coming in who will take their places and do what they could have done if they were used properly.
And we do have some very good talents coming through as well. Antonio Cesaro, Damian Sandow, Abraham Washington, Ryback could be a big star for the company. Dean Ambrose could possibly be on TV. There are a lot of good talents coming through, and unfortunately, those guys are going to replace some of these guys on the list that don't really have that much talent, let's face it. There we go. But anyway, leave us your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to be released? Are there going to be any releases? It just seems like this is the time of year that WWE will do the release. They probably won't do them like soon, but anytime it comes in the future, this video will finally become relevant, won't it?
It needs to be, because at the time, releases should be a big part of the WWE, because if they've got talent that are not being used, then the WWE need to think what would help their company and the future and stuff.
Yeah, and with no draft this year as well, you can't switch any of these guys' shows. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a draft, does there? Unless they save it for later in the year. Usually releases happen at the same time as the draft, don't they? But I guess that probably isn't going to happen this year. Is that pretty much all we got in it?
Pretty much for now.
17 minutes of releases talk, eh? God, I don't like talking about people's future endeavours, really, but unfortunately, we kind of have to.
Tune them to TNA.
Send them to TNA. There's quite a few guys in there that would be good in TNA, but there we go. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. I've been Mr. Parkin, of course. This guy sitting next to me has been Mr. Marvelous NJ.
What's up?
Wonderful, brilliant, fantastic, whatever you want to call him. Any of those words are very suitable to this guy sitting next to me right here. Make sure you get your comments down in the comment section below, and the right and honourable, wonderful, fantastic, brilliant NJ will now bring you a brilliant, fantastic, marvellous outro.
Well, people, so we don't release you, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, till next time, goodbye.